Hello guys, and welcome to my channel Departure from the Usual. If you haven't subscribed the channel yet, then do subscribe it and hit the like button as well. In the late 1960s and early 70s, he terrorized Northern California with 5 murders. So who was he? The Zodiac Killer. He is one of the most infamous unidentified serial killers in the US. Though many have speculated about the killer's identity, it remains a mystery to this day. In the late 1960s and early 70s, the killer terrorized Northern California with 5 brutal murders. Police initially believed the slayings were random, but local newspapers later received coded letters from someone calling themselves the Zodiac Killer, who took credit for the murders. On December 20, 1968, a young couple, David Faraday, aged 17, and Betty Lou Jensen, aged 16, took a drive to the outskirts of Benicia, California. The couple parked on a gravel turnout, which was a well-known lover's lane. The two were found by passing motorists hours later, who immediately called police after discovering their lifeless bodies on the side of the road. Betty Lou had been shot 5 times, and she was announced dead on the scene. David was found still breathing when police arrived, but he died shortly after from a single bullet to head. The crime scene was gruesome, and according to the San Francisco Chronicle, an ambulance attendant said at the time, "I never saw so much blood on the side of the road in my life." Nearly 7 months later, the Zodiac struck again. On July 4, 1969, another young man and woman were attacked in Vallejo, California, just a few miles from the first murder site. Darlene Ferrin, aged 22, was a mother and popular waitress at a local restaurant. She picked up her friend, 19-year-old Mike, and parked in the lot of a nearby park and golf course. According to the San Francisco Chronicle, a man approached the couple and opened fire on the car. Darlene was killed instantly in the shooting. Mike, who was shot in the jaw, shoulder, and leg, survived. Less than an hour after the attack, a man called police from a payphone. He said, "I want to report a double murder. If you go 1 mile east on Columbus Parkway to the public park, you will find kids in a brown car. They were shot with a 9mm Luger. I also called those kids last year. Goodbye." Mike gave a description of the shooter, saying he was a white male, short, possible 5 feet 8 inches, was really heavy set, beefy built, not blubbery fat, but really beefy, possibly 195 to 200 lbs or maybe even larger. Short curly hair, light brown, almost blonde, with a large face. On July 31, 1969, the Zodiac Killer sent out letters to 3 local publications: the San Francisco Chronicle, the San Francisco Examiner, and the Vallejo Times. They stated, "This is the murderer of the 2 teenagers last Christmas at the Lake Herman, plus the girl on the 4th of July near the golf course in Vallejo." In each letter, he also gave 1/3 of a cipher, explaining that he sent the 2 other parts of the same cipher to the editors of the other papers. He wrote, "I want you to print this cipher on the front page of your paper. In this cipher is my identity. If you do not print this cipher by the afternoon of Friday, 1st of August 1969, I will go on a kill rampage Friday night. I will curse around all weekend, killing alone people in the night, then move on to kill again until I end up with a dozen people over the weekend." Each of the 3 letters sent to the publications was signed with a symbol, a circle with a cross through it. Though the meaning behind the symbol has never been explained, There are many theories surrounding its origin. According to the book America's Jack the Ripper, the author believes the symbol was stolen from a Swiss watch brand named Zodiac. The face of the Zodiac watches contained the crosshair symbol, and ads for Zodiac watches ran in the San Francisco Examiner and the San Francisco Chronicle at the time of the Zodiac's first murders. After the ciphers were printed in all 3 newspapers, a pair of readers cracked the code, according to the Chronicle. High school teacher Donald Haddon and his wife Betty were able to decode the message, which read, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest. Because man is the most dangerous animal of all, to kill something gives me the most thrilling experience. It is even better than getting your rocks off with a girl. The best part of it is that when I die, I will be reborn in paradise and all that I have killed will become the slaves." The last word was leftover letters from cracking the cipher, and they have never been successfully decoded. In the early evening of September 27, 1969, another young couple was attacked. Brian Hartnell, aged 20, and Cecilia N. Shefford, aged 22, were having a picnic on an isolated lake about 20 miles north of Napa. The two were approached by a man wearing a dark blue hood with large slits for his eyes. On the front of his hood, over his chest, the Zodiac symbol was drawn in white paint, reported the Los Angeles Times. He wore thick eyeglasses with flipped-up, clip-on sunglasses attached. The man held a gun and told them he needed to tie them up, and he bound their arms and legs with plastic clothesline. Brian told a park ranger after the attack, "The men said, 'I'm going to have to stab you people.'" Brian had been stabbed 8 to 10 times. Cecilia had been stabbed 10 to 24 times, depending on what reports you read. According to the Los Angeles Times, as Cecilia was being knifed in the back, she rolled over in pain. The killer then stabbed her in each breast, in the stomach, and in the groin, in the pattern of a cross. Then he left them for dead. But before abandoning the scene entirely, the killer wrote a message for the police on the couple's car. In a felt tip pen, he drew his Zodiac symbol above the dates and locations of the murders he took credit for. The Zodiac then called police to report the attack. He said, "I want to report a murder, not a double murder. They are 2 miles north of the park headquarters. They were in a white Volkswagen and I am the one that did it." When police arrived, the couple was still alive but in critical condition. Cecilia died 2 days later in the hospital. Brian survived. He described the man as white, middle-aged, about 6 feet tall and around 200 pounds. On October 11, 1969, San Francisco cab driver Paul Stein, aged 29, picked up a customer who was later believed to be the Zodiac Killer. After reaching his destination, the Zodiac waited for Paul to put the car in park, according to CNN. Then he fired 1 shot into the back of the Paul's head. He stole Paul's wallet and glasses and cut off a piece of Paul's bloody shirt. Witnesses called 911 to report the murder. According to CNN, for some reason, the first report that came over the police radio was that the shooter was a black male. Because of this mistake, 2 officers ignored a white man who crossed their paths as they were pulling up to the crime scene. The Zodiac soon mocked police for that mistake. A few days later, the San Francisco Chronicle received another letter from the Zodiac. Inside the envelope, he mailed a piece of Paul's blood-stained shirt, according to the Los Angeles Times. The letter began, "This is the Zodiac speaking. I am the murderer of the taxi driver over the Washington State plus Maple State last night. To prove this, here is a blood-stained piece of his shirt. I am the same man who did in the people in the North Bay area. He also mocked police, saying the San Francisco police could have caught me last night if they had searched the park properly, instead of holding road races with their motorcycles, seeing who could make the most noise. The car drivers should have just parked their cars and sat there quietly waiting for me to come out of cover. In the decades since Zodiac's final accredited murder of Paul the cab driver, a number of killings have been linked to the Zodiac, but none have been confirmed. At one point, the Zodiac had claimed to have killed 37 people, according to CNN. That number has never been verified. Though police believe the killing stopped in 1969, the letters continued until 1974. So what are your thoughts on this not-so-ordinary murderer who, rather than avoiding the spotlight, craved media attention and seemed to enjoy taunting police with the cryptic notes and clues as he left a trail of death behind him? Comment below. I'll meet you next time with another interesting crime story. Until then, signing off.